Hello, friends. Welcome back, and thanks for stopping by. I'm Ryan, your favorite apostate. That's right, I'm taking that title. What are you going to do about it? I think so. Yesterday, I attended my very first Jehovah's Witness demonstration in Washington, D.C. There were former Jehovah's Witnesses and current Jehovah's Witnesses uniting for a purpose to bring awareness to the harmful policies that the Jehovah's Witness Organization employs upon its members. Not only were we trying to raise awareness about the harmful and toxic practices of the Jehovah's Witness Organization, like shunning, the 2-witness rule, no blood transfusions, we also made it a point to bring to people's attention the clergy penitent privilege. What is that, you ask? It is a privileged communication between a member of a church and a senior official, like a clergy member, an elder, where you would confess a sin to them, like, say for instance, in what we are discussing, child sexual abuse. That member of clergy does not have to report the confession. It's considered privilege. Now, most people who are around children are mandated reporters, right? For instance, teachers. If they find out about abuse, they must report. But your pastor, your preacher, your elder does not have to report the abuse. How do you feel about that? I don't feel good about that. I feel no sanctity in that. I don't feel protected in that. If anything, I feel the protection is more towards the perpetrator and not the ones being abused. So we want people to understand they need to contact their legislators, that we demand change. We have to start organizing, writing letters, emails, calling, and also just talking about it. Many people don't know what the clergy penitent privilege is. I didn't until a couple years ago. I had no idea. I just would have assumed that you would just want to tell. That's what I would have thought, but cult-like thinking. You wake up and you realize things aren't what they seem. So anyway, I had such a great experience. I want to say thank you to everybody who helped to organize that. It was so awesome and inspiring, and it edified me. It really did. It truly, truly did. I cannot wait for the next time, and I just hope we continue to grow powerful in numbers. I have a lot to think about. Like I said, there was a lot of emotions. Did I say that? I don't know if I said that, but it was a freaking tornado, a whirlwind of emotions. Anger, sadness, happiness. Some of those stories truly just, they sat with me. I could not imagine having to live through some of those experiences, but we all shared so many commonalities. Stories are different and unique, but also similar. It's wild. And there were so many thoughts that people were sharing just about their lives, their personality. That was just, I was like, I thought it was only me. Anyway, I will make a longer video about all that other stuff. I will take little snippets and make it a little more possibly digestible for you of the demonstration. But this video here is just going to be the raw footage. I apologize if it's a little difficult to hear. Maybe that's why when I cut it down, I might add captions. You let me know if there's anything that could be more helpful for you to watch it, if this is difficult for you to focus on or something. Anyway, thank you to everybody who came up and introduced yourself and gave me a little huggy hug. I thought, I feel like I was like, give me a hug. And everybody was like, oh, okay. I just thought it was cute. Or maybe I should be more like cautious. Maybe people don't want to hug me, and I'm just like, you're gonna hug me. Get over here. We're friends now. Anyhow, moving along. Enjoy the video. Again, thank you to everybody. Thank you to anybody who supported just by donating or just watching the videos, liking, commenting, sharing. Go put it in a Reddit somewhere, whatever. It helps. It truly helps push it forward out to more people. We are so small, you guys. We are such a small group of people. We need outsiders to understand what is being done to people. What you can get people to commit when they are being indoctrinated with lies. We see people in the organization who let their children die simply because they were told to do so. Okay? So we need other people to know that. Anyway, let me get off my high horse. I'm like Jesus on my high horse and my sword. What am I doing? I love you guys. I can't wait till next time. Look for my next video drop and more information, because I'm telling you, there's my little spidey senses was tingling. My little brain was going dunk, dunk. That's how slow it is. I'm sorry. That's as good as it's going to get around here. That's because of the cult. I gotta walk by.
I separated for 2 years and actually had 2 active Bible students at the time that I was in fellowship. Check that out, right? All those efforts for nothing. And then now I stand before you shunned, not only by my mother, who has gone through this before, but by my daughter, who I love dearly, but I did it to myself, right? I was very devout, pioneer, pray every night, supplicate, patience of Job, endurance of Joseph. And now I don't have a relationship with those that are closest to me simply because they could not make the decision for themselves to choose common sense, love, and humanity over doctrine. So shunning is definitely an abusive practice that is used by a lot of controlling individuals, right? If we were talking about a relationship, the woman is normally isolated from her friends and family. She's normally told not to associate with these people because they want absolute control. They control your money, your mind, your wardrobe, all those things. So when I looked into what abuse actually is and what gaslighting is, the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Christian congregation known as Jehovah's Witnesses, gaslights all of its 8 million plus members around the world. So this is not just an issue that we're dealing with here in the United States. This is a world issue. This is a human rights issue. This is something that needs to be looked into by everybody who has the authority to make decisions on behalf of mankind. You have generations of people who are separated for no reason. You have people who are homeless, kicked out, left destitute. We've already talked about the suicide. I mean, hell, I'm in therapy. I'm popping pills twice a day. Just because we need to come back to some sense of normalcy. That period of being kicked out or exiled and adjusting and deciding to not go back and having your whole reality turned inside out and upside down is extremely painful. There's no words I could probably use to quantify the mental anguish that one goes through every day while you're in the shower, while you go to bed, while you're cooking in front of your stove, while you're loading your dishwasher, while you're putting clothes in the dryer. It's almost non-stop. The barrage of thoughts, of guilt, of questioning. Am I still doing the right thing? Guess what? That creeps in every now and again. It does. It still does. Perfect. Am I on the right side? Our whole minds and lives have been controlled by this organization, only to find out what? You don't have to report field service time and anybody can make it.
Oh yeah, that's
Shit, I should have been in the Olympics team.
right. I could have had a double major.
I could have been my sister. But I didn't do any of those things. I actually spent all my time, my life is my everything, right? Your whole soul, mind, strength. Y'all know the scripture. because you're thinking you're actually doing the greatest good, only to find out that you actually were handicapping and crippling and disabling yourself. And you were also doing a huge disservice to all of your fellow human beings by being so close-minded and judgmental. So now that we are here to join in solidarity for those that are with us, those who couldn't make us, those who are in different zip codes, area codes, and time zones, let's really make this count. The next time we get to do this, let's keep doing this because everyone out there needs to know what's happening. And I'm gonna need y'all to start taking them tax dollars back from the Watchtower. They're not serving our community. They're not doing food drives. They're not paying people's bills. There's no utility vouchers. They're not doing tutoring for schools. They're not doing daycare. They're literally taking the dollars from their members and they're taking their pockets. To the Watchtower!
Tag me, make sure to tag me.
Okay.
Come on now. Y'all care about nothing else. Y'all care about the money. They got property, they got assets. Come on, seize their stuff. Let's go. When I say shunning is inhumane, I want y'all to repeat after me. Y'all ready? Let's go. Shunning is humane.
Shunning is humane.
Shunning is inhumane.
Shunning is inhumane.
Shunning is inhumane.
Shunning is inhumane.
I know y'all can do better than that. Come on.
I'm trying.
I want y'all to say it like it's the first day you just realized that the rug had been pulled from underneath you. I want you to say it like this is the day that you got the call that your loved one had committed suicide. I want you to say it like it's the moment that you realize that every opportunity that you could have had was taken from you. You didn't make the choice. It was taken from you. You didn't know you was being programmed. You didn't know you was being brainwashed. You didn't know you was being gaslighted. So I want you to say it like you mean it. Shunning is inhumane.
Shunning is inhumane. Shunning is inhumane.
Y'all, get in your feelings, okay? That's how we ignite change. Don't stand in the around on the sidelines. Get involved. Get into it. From the bottom of your feet to the crown of your head. Come on, shunning is inhumane.
Shunning is inhumane.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Is Felice here?
Everybody walks away from it.
Awesome.
Hi everybody, we are at a former Jehovah's Witness demonstration.
So before she
alerting
comes up, I
people
just
to
want
the
to say,
harms the organization does.
truly, thank you all
Trying to
for
let
being
people
here.
know about the
Really, I know it's at the
privilege and
beginning,
privilege, which
but it's got to be
allows
said again. Thank you
preachers
so
and
much for
pastors,
being here.
anybody
I know
with
some of you
authority
had to
inside
make a
of the
long
church,
drive. Some of you, like me, had to
to
make a
not
long
have
flight.
to tell about child abuse.
I
They're
mean,
allowed to keep it a
seriously,
secret.
some of you are local, but
And we want
you
to
could have
stop
been
that.
anywhere.
We don't need the
But you're
clear
here.
approach.
Those of you
Not when
watching
it comes to child
online,
abuse.
same thing. You guys could be doing anything. There's so much on YouTube right now, so much stuff that you can also be watching. But you're here with us, so thank you so much. Truly, thank you so much. Wow. So, there you go. Where did these go? Okay, so our next speaker is Felice. Thank you for being here.
Hi everyone.
Can you see better there? Sorry, y'all.
Hello,
Can you hear?
my name is Felice, also known as Totally Awake, as I have named my YouTube channel, where I do my acting.
Oh, I know Felice.
Thank you. Against Watchtower. I am a born-in third-generation ex-Jehovah's Witness, baptized at 15. I had a huge awakening from the indoctrination of Watchtower when I experienced a placenta abruption and my daughter needed several blood transfusions at birth to survive. She was not breathing, without a heartbeat, and she didn't have any blood in her little body. Could you imagine letting yourself, a loved one, or your child die refusing life-saving blood? Well, to be an obedient and true Jehovah's Witness, you have to be willing and ready to sacrifice your life or your child's life when faced with needing a life-saving blood transfusion. I was put asleep section. When I awoke, my doctor told me there was no if, ands, or but about it. We had to give my daughter an emergency blood transfusion to survive. I told him, okay, Thank you for saving my baby. See, the doctors were confused because even though I was waking up from Watchtower and had changed my paperwork to say no denomination in the hospital I had my baby at, it didn't register at my doctor's office suite. So they had no idea I was okay with blood. I couldn't fathom how anyone could allow their child to die refusing life-saving medical treatment that God had allowed man to be able to perform. How unloving would that be? The doctor and my husband, who has never been a Jehovah's Witness, was going to make sure my daughter would receive the life-saving treatment she should. I knew I wanted out. You see, though, around the time when my first daughter was born, I found out about all the corruption and lies, flip-flop doctrine and false doctrine, that I knew I would give my daughter or myself blood if she or I needed it during the birth process. Regardless of the fact that it is against the rules as a Jehovah's Witness, as they feel blood is sacred and represents life. But like former governing body member Raymond Franz of the Jehovah's Witness Organization said, blood is sacred, but not more sacred than the life it represents.
Yes.
For decades, countless lives have been lost due to their following the rules and direction of Watchtower and its unbiblical doctrine to die rather than to receive a life-saving blood transfusion. Children have been published on their front cover of an Awake magazine dated May 22nd, 1994, praising them for sacrificing their lives for this organization, all dying, refusing life-saving medical treatment. They were only children. They should not have been made to, or even be considered to follow such a heinous doctrine, a doctrine or belief to die for. There is even a hospital liaison team that comes to the hospital to encourage a Jehovah's Witness patient to allow themselves to die, to kill themselves, refusing a life-saving blood transfusion, should they need to. Watchtower must be stopped. Be Free 2023. As we join together today, our hope is to bring exposure to the dangers in the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses and to demand change. Thank you so much for listening and allowing me to speak today. Remember, receiving life-saving blood is a personal choice. Preserve your souls alive. Blood saves lives. Say it with me. Preserve your souls alive. Blood saves lives. Preserve your souls alive. Blood saves lives. Preserve your souls alive. Blood saves lives.
Thank you so much for that. That is a major issue. A lot of lives have been lost due to that. Now, I didn't have my Wi-Fi ready, so I was going to give you guys the whole timeline of all the changes. But it's out there if you need to see it. But I'll just talk about it anyways a little bit. Once upon a time, did you know the Watchtower actually accepted blood transfusions? Then they changed it. Then it was nothing at all. No blood at all. And then they changed it to allow, can you mind bringing that up here? Yeah. That's good to show. Thank you so much. So for people that can see this, this is the cover that Felice was talking about. This was a real cover that the Watchtower put out. May 22nd, 1994. Real pictures of kids that lost their lives due to refusing blood. Can you imagine putting kids who lost their lives on the cover of a magazine in order to help encourage other kids to also give up their lives due to this policy that is constantly changing. Again, I was going to bring up the timeline, but no Wi-Fi. But if you look at the timeline, they have allowed blood, then they disallowed. Then they allowed certain fractions. Then they allowed other fractions. Then they allowed other fractions. And in between all those changes, people are dying. Real people are dying. Real kids are dying.
I think it's something
not
like
just numbers on a piece of paper.
700, maybe 1,000 people
Actual
die every year
people
from not receiving blood transfusions.
Who had actual futures.
It's astonishing.
Lost over a religious teaching that has no biblical background. This is their messed up interpretation, and people are suffering for it. Thank you so much. So we gotta keep speaking about this stuff, and they gotta be willing to accept people's choices as far as health goes. As Felice was saying, when I had my ACL surgery, I got to see it firsthand. When you go in for a surgery and they know you're a witness, they do indeed have a hospital liaison committee that comes there to try to pressure you into refusing blood. Now, you're already nervous to go into a surgery anyways. So imagine you're already nervous and then you got these elders there trying to pressure you to give up your life. Are you really going to be able to say no in front of all those people pressuring you? With this organization that's so much about how other people see you, no, you're probably going to go along with it, which means you're probably going to be hurt. Again, this is a reality. This is not exaggeration. Now, before I invite the next speaker, who's going to be Carla, I know she's here. I saw her this morning. You want to start making your way up here? I just want to touch back on something Ivy was talking about the ruin potential. You know, I'm definitely a believer that we are all unique people, and so therefore we all have unique gifts. There is something that I can do that's going to be different than anybody else that does it. There's something that all of you can do that's going to be different than how anybody else would do that same thing. We all have our unique traits. So who knows? There could have been somebody who was born and raised a witness, who had the mindset, who had the natural talent to be able to find the cure for cancer. There might have been someone who was raised a witness, who had the mindset and the natural talent to be the next best NBA player, the next best movie star, the next best musical act, you name it. And yet that potential was lost because their organization told them, don't seek higher education and don't seek anything, any sort of high life for yourself in this system, because this system is passing away. We are in the last days of the last days, the last seconds of the last days. You know what they told me? They told me that I would not make it past 25 in this system.
Same.
I'm 32 right now.
I didn't think I'd graduate.
So, and this is really unfortunate because people, this affects many different aspects of your life.
Thank you. What's your name?
For example, finances. Hey, as a 20-year-old who thought that I would not see 25, the way I handled money was not the way I would have handled it had I known I was going to be 32 someday. Right? There's people out there who have made it to retirement age, who had nothing set up for themselves. Who would have been able to enjoy a leisurely life, but instead they're having to work until the day that they die because they were in an organization that told them that the end of the world was coming and it would take away all their problems. But we got to be adults here, and we got to tackle the problems rather than thinking that they're just going to disappear. So let me invite up the next speaker here. Oh, there she goes.
Sorry, y'all. It's hard to keep the person on stage in view there. Maybe I should move up. I don't know. I just don't want to get in the way either. You know what I mean? I don't want to be blocking stuff.
Hey, everybody. Hey. I'm Carla, and I'm a proud JW apostate. Woo! That used to be such a dirty word. Naughty. I heard that word apostate, but now, no, I'm reclaiming that word.
Yes, I revel in it.
I'm really heartened to see so many people here today, and I'm proud. It took me a long time to get here. It didn't really happen overnight, that's for sure. I was born in But basically, even as a kid, I was emo, and I definitely was as a teenager. I couldn't wait to get away from home, and I had to make a really difficult choice. It was either live my life of freedom by leaving home when I graduated high school, or stay there and have to, go into the pioneer work and then get married to somebody. And that's really the only choices for women in the organization. They really keep us down, don't they?
Yes. Yes.
So, like many of you, I'm a truth seeker.
I'm so loud, aren't I?
And the truth that I'm here to talk about today is about the shunning. That's a truth. They really is. That's the truth that we're here to talk about, is that how much the shunning hurts people. And I witnessed that firsthand. When I was 10 years old, my father, who was an elder, was disfellowshipped by a corrupt elder body.
Here, I'll go right
He
here.
had discovered that they were doing some funny business with the congregation donation money. And he confronted them about it, and he was angry. And they didn't like it. And he was going to report them. So they disfellowshipped him. Now I'm 10 years old, and we're uprooted because my family felt like they needed to move away from that town.
I'm going to show some of the signs.
So I'm uprooted at 10 years old, and I saw firsthand how hurtful that shunning was to my father. He was devastated. He had pioneered for years and years, full time, prior to my being born, prior to him getting married. And I saw the mental anguish, and it really affected me as a child. So for the next 3 years, it took him 3 years to get reinstated. He was never the same person after that. He was not the same person during those 3 years. And during that time, I definitely became rebellious. And during that time, there was an instance where, unfortunately, I think the stress and mental anguish and devastation that affected my father, he physically abused me. There are two types of shunning. There's soft shunning, and then there's really hard shunning. I think we all know how that goes. So when I left home in 1979, I stopped going to meetings. I had been baptized at 15.
Did you take care of him or something?
I pacified him. That was my goal.
My family would still talk to me. All of my family.
That was awesome.
Wash the skin.
But only really very much when there would be an occasional gathering, or if I would go to an assembly so I could actually see family. But eventually I moved away so that I could live my life of freedom. But that meant that I also had to have another choice. I either had to be part of the Jehovah's Witness community to have family to help me as a single mom, or I could live my life of freedom. Those are the choices that we're always left with, isn't it? We can't have both in this organization. Cult experts will tell us that every single cult shuns. Bar none. They do it. They do it as a goal to control their members and to control the people around their members, their families. You're still controlled by that shunning even when you're out. Even when you're living your life of freedom. Shunning is bullying. Shunning is cruel. We should all have the right to religious freedom without having to choose our families or the freedom. Within the Jehovah's Witness community, we all know and we've seen the mental anguish firsthand that shunning causes. It's known to create mental breakdowns as well as the mental anguish, and yes, even kills. So today, we call on the Watchtower Society to immediately stop their shunning practices.
Yes. Woo.
Respect human rights. Say it with me.
Respect human rights.
Respect human rights. Respect human rights.
Thank you so much. Actually, let's say that more. Respect human rights.
Respect human rights. Respect human rights. Respect human rights.
That's what this is. It is human rights. You should have the right to change your religion. For anybody out of these high control groups, when you want to change your religion, it's as simple as researching it and joining in. That's it. But for groups like the Witnesses and other groups like them, it's not that simple. To leave means leaving everybody you care about. Now, I don't take it for granted the fact that I actually had it a lot easier than many of you out there. Because when I left, my family was already out. I was the last one in. So I didn't have to go through the experience of having my family shun me like many of you guys do. However, I did have all of my friends shun me. And just by that experience, there were times I was so low I literally could not put it into words how I was feeling. There's times when I laid in bed actually wondering if I really wanted to see the next day or not. That's how low they can make you feel. So I don't ever take it for granted the fact that even with, again, I just had to deal with the friends shunning me. But with family on top of that, it's gotta be 100 times harder. Especially when it's with your own kids, your grandkids. This is horrible for people. Yeah. So, let me invite up the next speaker, who is Wendell.
Wendell?
But that's not what I've always believed was Watchtower.
You all don't recognize, or perhaps you do, how amazing you all look. And because of the stand that we have taken to walk away from the harmful practices of Watchtower, you really are the bravest people on the earth. Yeah. Now, it was about a month and a half ago, on September 11th, 2023, that this country commemorated one of the most devastating attacks ever to happen upon the United States, and that was the 9/11 attacks in 2001. Now, many of us remember it was really a pristine, beautiful Tuesday morning that turned into a horrific nightmare that even now we deal with on a regular basis. Isn't that true? Mm-hmm. So September 11th is a day that actually goes down with remembrance for this country and really all over the world. But for me personally, September 11th has another layer to it, another sad remembrance. And this just happened September 11th, 2022. You see, I had voluntarily left the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses. I didn't agree with the policies, the fundamental practices, and the theology. And that's really a human right that each and every one of us has, that we should be able to walk away freely. Now, on the other hand, all of my family, my brothers, my sisters, cousins, aunts, and everything, they were still in the organization, and I understood the ramifications, and I didn't bother them at all under any circumstances because I knew what their stance would be. But this really hit home for me. It was September 11th of last year, and I was going through a very difficult time, probably one of the most difficult times I've ever gone through throughout my life. And I just reached out to one of my siblings just to let them know what I was going through. I didn't ask for help. I wasn't asking for them to live. I just wanted them to be aware of the difficulties I was going through. Well, the message I got back from this sibling was this: as much as I, or we love you, we want nothing to do with you until you come back to Jehovah's. And you know what? It was at that time I recognized that, boy, I could actually be dying in a ditch. That wouldn't help. And that was a strong realization of the damage that this policy does. But it's not hyperbole. Many of us have gone through this and even worse. Well, you know, when I first got here a couple hours ago, the nice gentleman that I met, his name was Tim. And he came up to me and he goes, exactly, what is shunning? What is shunning? I don't know what that is. It's interesting that when you actually talk to people about it, it's totally preposterous. They don't believe it. But I'm going to give the definition directly from the Watchtower, because isn't it true that you evil apostates, you twist their words, you flip them around, you do your own definition so that they look good. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pull out my notes. I'm going to read to you exactly what the shunning policy is. So now I got to take my glasses off in order to see.
I know all about that. I'm like,
okay, here it is right here. From
you're
Jehovah's
fine.
Witnesses
Thank you.
publication, How to Remain in God's Love, published in 2017, page 241. It says this, and I quote, disfellowshipping, and again, keep in mind that this also applies to those who have voluntarily disassociated themselves. Disfellowshipping is applicable to a member who voluntarily leaves or disassociates. When someone who has seriously sinned and does not repent and refuses to follow Jehovah's standards, he can no longer be a member of the congregation. He needs to be disfellowshipped. When someone is disfellowshipped, we have no more dealings with that person, and we stop talking to them. And then they give a biblical record from 3 John where it says, if anyone comes to you and does not bring this teaching, do not receive him into your home or say a greeting to him. And this is unquote. This is again Jehovah's Witnesses' definition of shunning. And they'll say, oh, this is a loving provision. Masterminds of gaslighting.
yeah.
Notice this. Now this is from the September 15th, 1981 Watchtower on page 25. It says this. When it comes to dealing with a person who is dissociated or disfellowshipped, it says a simple hello to someone can be the first step that develops into a conversation and maybe even a friendship. Would we want to take that first step with a disfellowshipped person? Those are stunning, crazy words. But then you say, well, that was more than 40 years ago. Here we are in 2023, just about on 2024. Surely those words can't apply. Well, let's see. Fast forward, September 20, the Watchtower magazine on page 30, it told Jehovah's Witnesses, an unrepentant sinner, this is really crazy, an unrepentant sinner is like a person who has a highly contagious and infectious disease, and they need to be quarantined in order to protect others from getting sick.
Jesus.
So 40 years later, the Watchtower doubled down, and they even said, guess what? You're like an infectious disease. And let's not forget, this was right during the height of COVID.
Nice.
Well,
Talk
you
about
know,
apocalyptic.
some people might say, like my friend Tim, who I met earlier, he might say, well, surely this can't apply to family members. It's family, human rights. Everyone has a right to have an open and honest and genuine relationship with their family. Again, let's let the Watchtower answer for this. From the October 2017 issue of the Watchtower, page 16, it says, despite our pain of heart, we must avoid normal contact with a family member, either by telephone, text messages, letters, emails, or social media. That's their words. Not an apostate who's screaming mad, because when you think about it, our goal is not to bring anyone away from the organization, right? I mean, that's your right. That's the last thing that we want to do. It's leaving is a very personal decision with its own types of challenges that we all are willing to take. And those of us who do, you're courageous individuals. For those of us who may have to live, as we said, that chemo life, you also are courageous individuals. You're also courageous. Woo! Well, you know, what has been actually the result? What has been the result of isolating a person from community that they once have been part of for years? Now, I'm going to give you a little background of myself. My great-grandmother was in this. My parents are gone, but my mother's older sister, she was baptized in 1948, 75 years ago, okay? And now they say, exercise patience.
Yeah, keep exercising that
Exercise
patience.
patience.
Another 100
Well,
years.
what have been the results of families breaking each other apart? Well, we know grandparents that have never met their grandchildren, right?
Yeah.
We know families who have had no contact with each other for decades. I've spoken to people who've actually come back to Jehovah's Witnesses just for the sole purpose of being able to communicate with their families. We know of cases of very young ones who were thrown out of their houses at a very young age, at an age that there's no way you can take care of themselves, all because they were disfellowshipped. And they have been shunned and continue to be shunned even decades later.
Yep.
Now I'm going to say this. The leadership of Jehovah's Witnesses, you have a right to determine your interpretation of Scripture. That's your right. That's your right. But they also have to realize that their policies are death dealing. Their policies have actually literally killed individuals. And I think we'd be fooling ourselves if we really think that the leadership might change the shunning policy. Well, we're gathered here to let as many people know as possible to become aware of the mental, emotional, physical damage that shunning and disfellowship has caused. Please be aware of this, you out in the public, as well as those who also are here advocates of it. And just say this with me. Shunning violates human rights. Come on.
Shunning violates human rights. Shunning violates human rights. Shunning violates human rights.
Thank you all so much.
Woo! Woo!
A couple more. So next I want to invite up Albert to speak.
Where's the Albert?
Take your time. Oh. While he's coming up, I'll just say it's not really an open mic. We have the speakers pre-selected just to make sure that we really get our message across the way that we want to present ourselves. So that being said, if you came here wanting to speak and you weren't able to, or perhaps you weren't planning on speaking, but after being here, you get inspired to, after the event, come find me, and I'm going to have some openings on that camera there. I'm shooting another video that's going to capture the highlights. So we'll put you at the end of that video. That way you have a chance to share your voice too. So here's Albert.
How you guys doing?
All right.
I have a YouTube channel. It's more. Oh. But it's more of, it's therapeutic to talk on my channel. It helps me because I still have family that's in it. My wife, my kids, they have, they're still in. And I'm trying my best. But I retired here as a police officer in Washington, D.C. as a sergeant, right? One of these places that was a hood. But anyway, what I did was I did some investigation, and what really bothers me is that I have almost 100 men that were elders, ministerial servants that committed these crimes and not reported, and then left in these congregations to commit more. Some of these guys have more than 8 victims. It's multiple victims.
Disgusting.
But when I got into this, and I saw what the governing body, that's when they were in Brooklyn, right? That Cornelius, it's right here. He was molesting a 10-year-old. This guy here, he says Chitty, I call him Shitty. But
True.
I mean, this is governing body.
You might as well say it.
Right? Might as well.
Loach was approached and said, "Hey," did nothing. Jarrah, same way, and so does this guy here, Barr. But what I want to tell you is that, real quick though, my whole thing is we need to pass laws. First of all, like we were talking about earlier, the law for every state to be a mandated state to report.
Yes.
That should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
talked to him, I said, we need that database. We don't want the database of people who were investigated for stealing a bag of chips. What we want is the ones that confessed to pedophilia. Those are the ones we want.
Yes.
Because we don't have that. The congregants don't know. And what happens is these guys are still roaming around. I got 2 beautiful grandkids that just, one's 2 and my baby girl just born. They're gonna be sitting in these halls. And there you don't know who in there is a confessed pedophile. This doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? And this is supposed to be a loving organization. I mean, this doesn't make sense.
It's a lie.
And being a victim of this crime, let me tell you something, guys. These guys don't stop. This is not something, they continue and continue and continue. So we have to do something to protect our children. We have to. And this is why I was doing this, and it actually helps me. So I got all this list, and all the ones in yellow, these are elders. These are all elders. And then you got this clown that comes up and says,
Babies
we
are
don't have a
enemies.
problem. You know what I mean? This is sad, man.
Is it lead?
And just like they are, they're wolves and shit.
Too small.
But anyway, I don't want.
My eyeballs.
I just.
Yeah,
But I
okay.
appreciate
Enemies of God.
you guys'
Babies are
channels.
little enemies of God,
I get
so,
into them. My channel is more of a. I get to vent and rant and talk about my situation with my family, and hopefully one day maybe they'll see. But Jesus, that indoctrination is real, man. It's real. This is PTSD number. I mean, so anyway, thank you guys, and I appreciate all y'all.
Thank you so much for that. And thank you for all the research that you've done to find those people. And yeah, we got to know this stuff. We got to know who these people are. And the world deserves to know who these people are.
Yep.
This is why we're doing this way. We're
They're
not
coming
talking
to your
the
door.
Watchtower here. They don't
They're
listen.
knocking on your door.
People have been
Your kid will open the door.
activists have been going on
Your
for years.
kid will one day open the door
They don't
to a
listen.
Jehovah's Witness.
So we got to do it this way to speak to the general public and reach the people that really deserve to know this stuff. Because as he's bringing out, these are known pedophiles who are allowed to run around.
Knock on
Known
doors.
pedophiles are allowed to run around. Just think about that for a second.
Knocking on doors.
Outside of the religious groups, for that same crime, you go to jail. So that makes no sense to me. That if you're in a religious group, you get away with it. If you're not, you go to jail. Please make that make sense.
Yup.
That should not be long in this country where we are in history. That has no place. We got to get things equalized. The same crime should fit the same punishment for everybody, regardless of religion. So the next speaker is Larry.
Stay alive till 75.
Oh no!
Very important Secretary of State said, this world will be ungovernable and ungoverned by 1985. 1914 is when Christ will return and the saints will be raptured up to heaven.
Second generation.
My name is Larry. I came all the way from New Jersey to be here. Just a little brief history of my own history. I was born into the truth. When I graduated high school, I immediately full-time pioneered for 3 years. Then I went to Brooklyn Bethel for another 5 years. And of course, I was an elder in a local congregation in the Bronx, New York.
My grandfather would do stuff like that as well.
Charlie Russell was a 19th century religious crank and a religious quack.
Oh dear.
Joe Rutherford.
Lay it out.
Tell us how you
was a
feel.
tyrant, an alcoholic, and a drunk in that order. And by the way, speaking of Joe Rutherford, do you think he really got over with that Beth Sarim mansion that he lived in? This was during the Great Depression, and he lived in luxury in that mansion in San Diego.
That's messed up.
He had not one, but 2 Cadillacs. 2 luxury Cadillacs.
What?
16-cylinder Cadillacs.
Little
I
shiesty
think he did
motherfucker.
get over pretty well. Fred Franz
Wow.
was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. When I was at Bethel, because of the particular job that I had, I got to know all the members of the governing body, even personally, some of them. I knew Fred Franz very well, and I also knew Raymond Franz very well. Just a couple little interesting tidbits about Raymond Franz. In Bethel, we had dish duty, and none of the higher-ups at Bethel would ever do dish duty. They were exempt. Except Raymond Franz would make it a point to be humble and always take his dish duty, just like all the new boys. Also, I'll tell you something about Raymond Franz that's interesting. When I was at Bethel, I needed to buy a refrigerator, and I ended up buying one from Raymond Franz for $80 to put in my room. And I went over to their room, to Cynthia and Ray's room, to talk to them about the refrigerator. And I asked him, well, why are you selling it? And Cynthia Franz told me, well, sometimes the refrigerator comes on, it makes like a little humming noise, or a little vibration noise. And Ray concentrates so much that disturbs him, so he wants to sell the refrigerator. Just a couple tidbits about what a great man Raymond Franz was. Don't let Jehovah's Witnesses bamboozle you. Don't let them hoodwink you. Don't let them fool you. There is no such thing as the new world. There's no such thing as everlasting life on this earth. That's pie in the sky. Instead of believing in that, we should use our lives now to achieve happiness, achievement, and accomplishment. Be all you can be now. So, what should our message be to the many people that are fine Jehovah's Witnesses? Well, it's very simple. Our message to them should be, think for yourself. Don't let anybody else take over your thinking and do your thinking for you. Live your life for yourself. Finally, we could say to them, be free, breathe free, spread your wings wide, soar like the eagle.
That's a very good message there. Yeah, please use the life that you have. No more waiting to be happy. That is such a bad way to live. You can be happy now. Happiness is a choice. You just have to make it. That's it. So the next speaker, is it Fran and Joe or just Joe? Oh, just Joe? Okay. When you're ready. Whenever you're ready. Oh, both of you guys. Okay. Cool. Awesome.
I think we're the first couple to come up here, and the reason why I'm out is because of the sky.
Woo!
We're out because of
I just
we're seeking to do is to unite all of the XJWs around the world. We have a program called The Outside Story. We're on Rick Fearon's every other Saturday night. People call in. We've connected people, and they will talk for 4 hours. Somebody from California will talk to somebody in Long Island. We'll just talk because we have trauma bonding. Now I'm getting nervous.
Really is. And you're doing it here, and we see individuals doing it. You need to continue. Everything and anything that you're speaking out with now, you have to speak out where you are. It's the only way that's going to work. It really is. So anything you can do, as small as it is, it's not small. It's added together, it's going to be the thing that works. Our 4 children that are shunning us, they're going to find out what they need to do from the people around them. Well, our goal is to inform the people around them so that they can tell them. And it's a process, and it will work. It will work, but it takes time.
We were in for 36 years. We are not born in. We came in, we were Catholic, we were looking for the true religion, we were looking for somebody that was teaching the Bible so that we could bring our 4 children up. I was pregnant for the youngest. Our oldest was less than 5. Right now they're 43, they're 40, they're 38, 41, and now they are shunning us. But we have so many adopted children all around.
That's right.
That feel that we are
my
their
mom.
mother
Me.
and father.
You're my mom
we will
now.
not shun you.
That's the kind of people we need more of. You're actually highlighting on something I was going to say at the closing, but I'll get to that later. So we got a couple more speakers. The next is Selena.
There you go, baby. Got me crying over here. God damn it. God damn it.
Hi, I'm Dr. Selena Bertolomo. You might know me from a really awkward video where I went looking for Tony Morris. I found him. I wanted to come out today to show support because I grew up in a different section of the Watchtower. I don't know that a lot of people are aware that the Jehovah's Witnesses are a tiered organization. So a lot of the information that I have is different from the information that a lot of other people have, and that's why the unity is so important, because everybody has a piece of the puzzle that allows this to come together the right way, if that makes sense. I wanted to bring attention to the CSA survivors. My CSA began at 6 months old, continued till I was 11 years old. And it was known by 37 elders and all of the governing body. It was personally covered by Tony Morris. My family was, they were threatened and intimidated and to silence for many years by Tony Morris. And I just got really sick of it. So that's why I drove to Lumberton to let them know where he was. I do not in any way condone violence. I don't condone any crazy behavior. We got to keep it peaceful. I just wanted to talk to him for a second because the effects that this organization has had on our families and on our children have been devastating. So I'm hoping that more CSA survivors feel more comfortable coming out to talk about it. It is like the most humiliating and embarrassing thing you could possibly have to talk about. And I just want everybody to know that it's not your shame to carry, it's theirs. And the more that you open that up and you let go of that shame, the more the crimes are able to be public and the more progress you can make.
not keep quiet about this stuff. We have to keep letting our voices be heard. So, speaker, once again, about it, Malia, she has some more things to say.
My emotions got the best of me, so I didn't get to say everything I wanted to earlier, but I wanted to bring out the fact that Jehovah's Witnesses are going to say that this is persecution, right? We all know that. It's on Halloween, so look at what Satan's doing, right? But this isn't persecution. This is holding them accountable for what they're doing, the abuse that's going on, not just with children, but with men and women worldwide, every day. And I wanted to mention that after I became an adult and I had kids, and they were the ages that I was when I was molested, I was like, what? Like, I carried so much shame and guilt that I went and got help. And in my late 30s, I confronted the elders about my abuse. My father even appealed the decision for me to be disfellowshipped for my own abuse, and I got a letter straight from the governing body saying that I should be disfellowshipped. When I confronted these elders about my abuse, and my brother-in-law and my sister, I was asked if I could forgive them so that they could be in positions of authority over children. What? One of my abusers is a ministerial servant, still, today. So by doing this, we're having a voice for those kids. And I have a program called Overcoming Religious Trauma, where I help people have a voice and share. And it's the best thing that I can do is use my experience that was terrible. It was horrific to go through. I had days I didn't want to go on, but that relates me to so many that don't know how to talk about it. And so we need to keep doing this. We need to keep sharing and keep talking and protect those kids. So let's chant that again, because I couldn't get through the first one, but let's say it again. So say it with me. Protect the children.
Protect the children!
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 Thank you.
Wow.
This is the only chance.
I'm not sure how many are online,
Keeps
but
me from going insane.
once again, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for everybody watching online.
Exactly.
This was amazing. This was historic. And perhaps this will be the first step in getting some real change. That not only affects Jehovah's Witnesses, but all high control religious groups and non-religious groups, because we got to think about everybody. If we only think about our own people, we're just as bad as them. So we got to think about everybody here, because we got cousins and brothers and sisters in other religions, and you'll be very surprised how similar they all are, like they're reading the same book almost. So before we go here, I just want to ask you guys to do 3 things for you, please. Number 1, talk to your senators. You can email them. You can go the old-fashioned way, do letter writing. Some of them you can even call.
Letter writing.
You got stamps?
Oh, Lord.
Letter writing. Can I send a text?
But it's very, 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 very
sound like the
important
witnesses' way of doing things.
No.
that we get those messages to those people, to the people that are in that house, to the people that are in the Capitol, whatever direction that is, somewhere out there, somewhere. It's here. We got to get these messages to them, because they have the power to change the rules. They have the power to get mandatory reporting required in all 50 states. Let's say that again. Mandatory reporting in all 50 states.
Mandatory reporting in all 50 states. Mandatory reporting in all 50 states. Mandatory reporting in all 50 states. Mandatory reporting in all 50 states.
Again, there's no reason not to do it. We're not in the 1920s anymore.
Nope.
Let's bring things into modern times here. Let's protect the children, not keep protecting these organizations' reputation. Let's protect the children, the next generation. Because there's something I forget the name of it, but trauma chain. That's the name of it. There's something called trauma chain. So we talked a lot about CSA issues here. A lot of times, the very same people that are doing the abuse were also abused. So as we report this stuff, as we get mandatory reporting in all 50 states, we can not only prevent more children from being abused, we can make sure that the people that are doing the abuse get the correct rehabilitation. That way we can break that chain. Very, very important. So please, contact your senators. We gotta get this message to them. Number 2, tell your story. Just like someone was saying, let's not be quiet about this. Share your story. It's not fun to talk about. I know. Sometimes after I do a video, I just gotta practically take a nap after that, you know? It can take a lot out of you sometimes, talking about these type of things. But it's very, very, very important that we get these messages out there. So please, tell your story. The more united voices we have, the more powerful we are. The more we cannot be ignored. So add your voice. Go on YouTube, tell your story. If you don't want to start your own channel, by all means, find a YouTuber that you like and see if you can join up on them. Go on their channel, tell your interview, tell your story. My door is open. XJW Diaries. You want to tell your story? Send me an email. It's at the end of every single video after the camera cuts. I'd be more than happy, as long as you can speak respectfully, to help you get your story out there. You can do it on other social media channels.
You can curse on mine.
Go on TikTok. I don't know if I can say TikTok in front of the White House, but
No censorship there. Nope.
but whatever social media channel is most comfortable for you, get your message out there.
But that's why what you said is
Not just, Reddit is awesome, but on Reddit we're talking to ourselves. So we got to get these messages out there beyond our own group. This is why YouTube is and things like that are important, because people that have never heard of our message, people that have never been witnesses before, can go on there and see what's going on in these organizations. And you never know how someone's story is going to affect another person. You never know who knows someone who knows someone. So please, let's get our stories out there. Now, the third thing, it's another very important one. Let's please remain united as a community. Let's drop the drama and infighting. It's very important that we come together and unify. Again, you see where we're at right now? You see what we're doing? You see how many people we have here? And not even people online. We can't even see them.
they're invisible.
This is why this can happen, because we came together united for a common cause and made this happen. This is how we get stuff done. We have to remain united. So who cares? People are going to believe different things. Who cares about who believes in God and who's an atheist? Let's drop that stuff. Seriously. Let's drop the drama. Let's drop the drama. It makes no sense, because we all came from a very similar thing. You know, all of us have different stories. All of us have different experiences from within the organization. But we all know what it was like to be a witness. People that were not in there, they don't know what it was like. So since we have that understanding, we have that common ground, let's just stick to that, please. Let's stop the infighting, let's just stick to that. So, let's support one another, let's remain united. Shout out to everybody online, shout out to the XJW group. Be cool to each other. That's where I woke up from, so much love to you guys. Again, tell your story, and again, tell the senators. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to the organizer of this event. Thank you to the people online. Thank you to the speakers. I can't say this enough. Thank you, 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 thank you to all of you. Seriously. Now, before we end this, let's just say it again. All religions must respect human rights.
All religions must respect human rights. All religions must respect human rights. All religions must respect human rights.
Protect the children, not your reputation.
Protect the children, not your reputation. Protect the children, not your reputation. Protect the not your reputation.
Mandatory reporting for all 50 states.
Mandatory reporting for all 50 states. Mandatory reporting for all 50 states. Mandatory reporting for all 50 states.
Thank you so much for being here. This is awesome. Is Mike here? Where's Mike at? We got not here yet? Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Before we close, let's have Rick come speak one more time.
I just want to make one announcement that tonight I'll be doing a live broadcast from my hotel room at 7 o'clock.
Is it a party?
Everybody's invited. I'm staying at the Plaza Hotel. It's about 10 o'clock. I'll buy pizza for everybody. Come and join us. We'll be at the Plaza Hotel, it's the 7th floor, 713.
Mine's in my granddaddy.
So I don't think they didn't even fly. So we'll try to do the best we can. But I want to thank the organizers of this today. This is the largest protest ever in the history of the Jehovah's Witness. I've counted, it's hard to count the people because they're walking around the room. But I counted about 153 people.
Nice.
So that's not too bad.
I'll take it.
So I really, you made my day.
Let's double it next year.
You made Justin's day, Wally, he's running all around the place, he's doing a great job. But
At least that I've
the organizers, let's do this again sometime. Let's do another business, right? How many were online? Okay, we had 200 at one time, 252 online. So that was just on my channel. So they had a channel for me as well. So thank you very much, Justin.
Thank you so much.
She might be sick.
Okay, then Wally wanted to say something real quick.
I know you guys have already heard from everybody and excellent speakers and all that great stuff. Some of you might not know I've been on like a road trip across the country. I'm going to be on the road for like 23 days. If you guys want to be part of that story, just come and find me. I'd like to interview or just get some quick little snippets because I am going to be putting this all together for like this giant project that I have burbling in my head. Anyway, that's it. You're beautiful people. Much love.
Test. Okay, we're good. You didn't break it. All right, well, once again, thank you so much for being here. Again, if you wanted to speak but weren't able to, or if you weren't planning to speak but you feel inspired to, come find me. I still got room on my SD card there. I'm making a highlights video right now, so you can be at the end of it. Again, as long as you can speak respectfully, I think we have made our mission here clear. I think we made the tone here clear, so as long as you can stay with that mission and with that tone, you are more than welcome to go at the end of the video for this highlight video. So once again, thanks for everybody for being here. The reason I was asking for Mike, he is a XJW and he has a promotion company. So he has been kind enough to get an entire restaurant reserved for us. They'll be having live music and the whole thing. So if you would like to go to that, that is at Bus Boys and Poets at 2004 Martin Luther King Avenue Southeast, Washington, D.C. 20020. So once again, it's at Bus Boys and Poets because there's a lot of them around the area. So this specific one is at 2004 Martin Luther King Avenue Southeast, Washington, D.C. 20020. One more time for people. 2004 Martin Luther King Avenue Southeast, Washington, D.C. 20020. If you look it up, it should come up on your phone. So that doors will be open at 7 o'clock. and it's first come, first serve. For our event, everybody is able to get in for free. There's a QR code when you enter where you're able to donate to our cause. Otherwise, I hope to see some of you there. And once again, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for making this a success. And hopefully this is just the beginning of something more.
So what's now? Is it done? I thought it was till like 4. I'm a little confused. I'm gonna stop for now, y'all. Thanks to whoever who was oh, hey Jonathan, whoever was watching, thank you, I appreciate it. I'll try to get some video footage and whatnot together and post later. Bye y'all.